Just let me know when should I start.
Yes, sir. I will be.
Sure. Can you enable the screen share option?
Yes, sir. It's being enabled, sir. You can share the screen.
No, still it says that the host has disabled participant screen sharing. So what you can do is you can just make me as a co-host. Yes, it is done.
So we can start the session, sir. Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon to all the participants present. Today we have Dr. Akash Mathapati, sir. He has completed his PhD from Vishweshwara Technology University, Belgium. He has cleared his KSET in the year 2014 and has cleared UGC NET in the specialization of management in the year 2013. He has 2 years industry experience and nearly 14 plus years of academic experience. He is currently working as assistant professor in SVKM's Nursi Monji Institute of Management, Bangalore. Sir has presented and published articles in reputed journals. So I welcome you, sir, on behalf of our university.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You can start the session, sir.
Okay. So a very good evening to all the participants. But I'm not able to see how many participants are there. But nonetheless, so I'll go ahead and give a quick brief about the marketing subject in the 1 hour. And so rather than saying marketing, I mean, the syllabus, what is there for the national eligibility test, it is more of a combination of a multiple subjects. Okay, so I'll just try to briefly touch upon the multiple areas, yes, on like what net usually covers. And basically, if you look at the previous year's question papers and from marketing stream, there will be around some 12 to 15 questions that will be coming from marketing. And when you say marketing, there are multiple subjects that are there. Yes, I mean, if you look at the syllabus, it is the services marketing is there. You've got sales and distribution, you've got consumer behavior and principles of marketing. Yes, so it is a combination of multiple subjects. Yes, and so basically if you learn marketing with the help of one book, which usually you get as a ready reckoner, so that would be very difficult to clear anything. So probably the people who have been teaching different subjects every semester will be able to clear this with ease, I can say. Yes, because they have taught multiple different subjects every semester and they are used to it. Yes, so quickly what I'll do is I'll just go through these some 7 8 aspects or concepts of the marketing here. Yes, so hope you are able to see the PPT here. Okay, so starting with the definition of marketing. Yes, when you talk about marketing, it is the activity uh, or which is pertaining to a set of institutions, or it is a process for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offering that have value for customers. Yes, if it doesn't have value, the customer would not be willing to pay a particular price for that particular product or a brand or whatever service or whatever it is. Yes, so that specific offering needs to have certain value for the customers here. Yes, And it could be customer as an individual, it could be the clients, it could be the partners, and the society at large. Yes. So when we talk about these multiple things in marketing, so we talk about the marketing mix. Yes. So when you talk about marketing mix, yes, which is called as the 4 Ps also. Yes, 4 Ps. So when you talk about 4 Ps, you have to get the sequence right of that particular thing, because a company might come up with a product and says that, look, here is a product, and we have priced it at this particular MRP, and so you are going to promote that particular product uh, through different media vehicles, and trying to communicate to the customers saying that this particular product is available at this place. Yes. So that is how it goes. First one is product, second one is price, third is promotion, and fourth is place. Yes. So a product could be a goods or services that is offered by an organization, and when you say the price, it is about a fair price for that particular product as compared to its competitors in the market. And promotion is, yes, I spoke about communicating or informing the customers about the existence of the product, or where it is available, and what are the benefits that the product brings in. Yes. So, and the place where it is available. Yes. So if you look at these 4 Ps as individuals: product, price, promotion, and place. Yes, these are different subjects in itself. Yes, when you talk about product management is a subject, and yes, pricing encompasses in marketing. And when you talk about promotions, you have got advertising as a different subject. You have got integrated marketing communication as a different subject. When you talk about place, yes, you have got sales and distribution as a different subject. So these have branched out as multiple subjects over a period of time. Yeah. Yes. So that is how important these particular 4 Ps are to any organization. Yes. So nowadays, yes, people talk about 4 Cs as well, which you can equate. Let's say for product, you can say consumer solutions. Yes. When you talk about price, you can say cost. When you talk about promotion, you can say communications. When you talk about place, you can say convenience. Yes, that is how 4 Ps are equated with 4 Cs. Yes. And this particular 4 Ps are propounded by a particular author called as McCarthy. Yes, McCarthy's 4 Ps. So from net perspective, you need to understand who has coined these terminologies, because everybody might be teaching 4 Ps, but who is the person behind 4 Ps? That is important here. Yes. So when you talk about the second part, and this is which we largely call it as STP, segmenting, targeting, positioning. These are three different concepts. Yes, three different concepts. Because let's say, first of all, you have got a product in place for a company. Now the question is, where do you want to sell it, or whom do you want to sell it? Yes. Can I sell that particular product to the entire state or a country as a whole? It might not be possible. Yes. So that is the reason you have to segment the market. That means you have to break it in pieces. Break it in pieces in the sense, which market is affordable, which market is lucrative, and which is going to bring in more revenues for you from that particular perspective. Yes. So that is how you're going to slice the market into different segment. And once you decide that, okay, look, this is a market I'm going to segment, then comes your targeting. Out of 1, 2, 3 markets that you have segmented, this is going to be my target market. Yes, because this is a market where the description of my potential consumers fits well. Yes. And then you're going to position your offerings to the market, because it depends like what kind of positioning that you want to do to the market. Yes. Whether the product needs to be considered as a premium product, whether the product needs to be exclusive or a limited edition, or let's say a product is for a mass market. Yes. So this is how segmenting, targeting, positioning is done. And usually a new company, usually what it does, it goes for one segment, Then once it grows there, it moves to segment 2, then segment 3, 4, like that, and it covers the entire market over a period of time. Big companies, let's say for example, the fast moving consumer goods companies like Procter and Gamble, yes, they have got huge financial muscle, so they are able to launch and cater to huge country markets in one go. So they may treat one particular country as a mass market. Yes, so it depends on the orientation of the company, what is the size of that, and what kind of markets they are looking at. So these are the things. So basically, when you talk about how is this segmentation going to happen? Yes. So let's say, if you want to do segmentation, there are different types that a company is going to approach. Let's say, for example, geographic segment. As I said, Procter and Gamble might treat one country as a whole. So when you say geographic segment, the company might want to divide its market on the basis of, let's say, a nation or region or state, or it could be cities or whatever it is, basically on the basis of geography. Yes, or it could say North America, it could say Southeast Asia. So it depends on the orientation of the company. Number 2 is the demographic segmentation. When you said demographic segmentation, so the company is going to segment a market on the basis of the gender, it could be the age, the income of that particular segment, family size, occupation, education, religion, nationality. So these are going to be some of the basis for demographic segmentation. Then comes third one, that is the psychographic. So when you say psychographic, it is about what kind of personalities are there in this segment. Yes. And what is the user status? Are they heavy users? Are they light users? Yes. What is their loyalty status? Are they willing and ready to buy the product? Yes. So this comes under the behavioral part, that is the user status and other things. And the last one is the decision maker. What is the decision making role? Is an individual a purchaser or an influencer? Yes, in home you could see that the purchaser would be the father, but the influencers would be the mother. Yes, so usually we focus on the demographic segmentation, psychographic, as I mentioned, which talks about personality, lifestyle, and attitude in psychographic, behavioral, user status, purchase occasion, loyalty, and readiness to buy. So these are a certain basis on what a company is going to segment the markets, you can say. Yes. So this is a quick review of, let's say, STP here. Yes. So moving on to the next one. Yes. That is promotion. Yes. As I mentioned about promotion when I was talking about 4 Ps, that it is a different subject altogether, which we say that integrated marketing communication, and advertising is one different subject, which is part of IMC. So this P talks about the promotion decisions. Yes. So when you talk about the promotion decisions here, yes, or let's say the promotion mix. Yes. So these 3 things, what you can see on this slide. Yes. Increased demand. Number 2 is present information about the product. Number 3 is differentiate a product. So this is the 3 main objectives of any promotional mix. Yes. So when you talk about increased demand, so what you're going to do in this is there are multiple strategies in this phase which are used during the product life cycle. Yes. To increase the sales. When I say product life cycle, it has got 4 phases. One is the introduction, yes, growth, maturity, and decline. So every product passes through these 4 phases of the product life cycle. In introduction, you see that usually what happens, there is a lot of money that is spent on the product because the product might not be known to the consumers. Yes. Then there is a growth phase. Then there is a maturity phase. Maturity phase, yes, the product is already known to the market and majority of the market has purchased the product. It is matured. You don't have to advertise as heavily as you were doing in the introduction phase. Yes. So that you can equate that to the cash cow scenario of the Boston Consulting Group matrix, which is called as BCG matrix, and there is a cash cow position. So you can say a matured product is like a cash cow. It is going to bring in a lot of revenues with less money being pumped into that particular product. Yes. So one is increased demand. Number two, as I mentioned here, is present information about the product. So you're going to talk to the customers, consumers, and you want your consumers to know what the product is all about. What are the benefits that it offers? What is the value? Yes. And they need to understand how your product is different from your competitors. Yes. Usually you see that when you talk about how this particular product is different from the competitors, we talk about differentiation. Yes, which is called as product differentiation, or one particular product might have one unique aspect which other products are not having. That we call it as USP, unique selling proposition. Yes. So these are the things that needs to be focused, and you need to give information about the product, and it depends on the specific target market, like what kind of information that you want to pass on, right? Then comes the third one, that is differentiate a product. Yes, because as I told you, you need to use some differentiation strategies. Yes, say for example, in the personal computer segment, you see that so many companies are there which are selling laptops or personal computers, etc. here. But you see that the way Apple has created a differentiation for itself in the industry here. Yes. And now you see that the way Apple did an advertising campaign, it wanted to show general users how easy it is to use. Yes, how easy it is to use a product, and the way they have created that as a premium product in the category, and everybody wants to buy that particular product here. Yes. So these are certain things when you talk about the promotion decisions, and I spoke about the product life cycle, which passes through the 4 phases: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So let's say, for example, in decline, what happens? The sales have come to a stagnation or a standstill, or you can say the market is saturated. Yes. And so having a product in this particular phase is a cost to the company. So the company needs to decide whether they want to keep this particular product or they want to get rid of this particular product. Yes, because the sales are going down and there is a whole lot of competitive pressure on the company here. Yes, and the product could be old and probably it is no longer in demand. Yes. So these are certain questions or challenges that the company might face. Yes. So then if a particular company wants to get rid of it, yes, so they can push the product out of production and take it off from the market, which is called as product pruning. Yes. So you weed out that particular product from your portfolio of products here. Yes, rather than just keeping it and adding up to the cost. So you want to get rid of that particular thing and make way for another product. And let's say, for example, there is a product in a maturity stage and you want the product to stay for some more time in the market. So what you might want to do as a company, you might want to add some new features for the product or do some aesthetic changes for the product, so that the curve on the product life cycle is going to take another spike on the graph. Yes, which are called as, there are different patterns in the product life cycle, which you can read scallop pattern, and there are cycle recycle patterns. So you need to read those patterns as well for yourself. And say, for example, Swift was an example where it was there in the market, and I think it is still there in the market for a long time. It's been more than a decade that it has been in the market, right? So how is that they are able to sustain a product in the market for so long, which has been matured, and looking at its competitors' product have already saturated in the market. But how is that Swift is still in the market? That is because they have used multiple improvements, or let's say they have used some new features, they have infused some aesthetic changes to the product, and with the help of that they are able to sustain in the market. Yes, so that is how they are in the market here. Yes, so that comes under the patterns of product life cycle. So along with the promotions, yes, we spoke about the product life cycle as well. Yes. So next, moving on to the distribution, which is the fourth P, that is a place. Yes, where the product is sold or where the product is available. Yes. So this is one typical flow in the marketing channels, and the example is for Monster beverage. Yes, Monster beverage is an energy drink, uh, which has come as a strong competitor for the Red Bull brand. Yes, and already it has challenged the competitive position of Red Bull, and Monster is doing really well in the market. Yes, so this is the typical product flow, negotiation flow, ownership flow, information and promotional flow. Yes, but when you talk about distribution perspective, we focus on this particular thing. Yes, there are multiple channels. Yes, there are direct channels, uh, retail channels, wholesale channels, and omni channels. That's where you sell it with the help of multiple channels as well. Yes, so very rare you see that direct channel. Yes, which we call it as a zero level, that is directly from producers to consumers. Yes, but what happens is nowadays majority of the companies are focusing on these kind of things. Yes, majority of the companies are focusing on these. You can see how the new product launched by Ola, yes, the EVs that it has brought in. Yes, so it has taken this particular route, D2C, direct to consumers, they say. Yes, so there are some electric vehicles which are adopting these things, but there could be retailers where you say, producers, and there are carrying and forwarding agents, there are distributors, there are wholesalers, or let's say retailers. Now you see that every company wants to cut down these intermediaries. We call these people as intermediaries. Everybody wants to cut down on this. Yes. So why is that they want to do? Because the less number of intermediaries, yes, the product is going to cost less to the end consumers. And the end consumers always are looking for the bargain hunt. Yes, where they're going to get good products at lower cost. And the competition has been very stiff. So that is the reason everybody is struggling to cut down on the cost of intermediaries. But if you look at these intermediaries here, what is happening is, yes, one second. Okay, so what is happening is, so you can see how these omni channels, these .coms, they are shaping up, and they are coming as a different channel, and they are able to save the price for the company, and that same saving is passed on in the form of discounts to the consumers here. Yes. So this is how distribution, or the fourth P, plays a vital role here. Yes. So say for example, Walmart has pioneered a concept called as EDLP, which is called everyday low pricing. Yes. So on a daily basis, they put one or the other product on sale, and they keep that rotating on a daily basis. Yes. So these are the typical channels, yes, where you find in the market. And so okay, so before moving on to the next slide, and then this particular slide, let's say for example, let's take example of this wholesale channel here. Let's say the producer is going to produce a product, and the product might cost X amount. Yes, let's say wholesaler and distributor might have some 8% margin, 8% margin on selling that particular thing. Yes, so retailer is going to have another 10% margin. Yes, so what happens? The cost of product plus 8% plus 10%. So that is going to be the cost for the consumers. Yes, let's assume that if wholesalers are not there, what is going to happen? That 8% is saved, and that 8% saving can be given in the form of discounts to the end consumers. So that is the reason everybody wants to go and purchase online these days. Yes, lesser number of intermediaries, the good it is. But some products you wish to purchase it offline. Why? Because there is a value addition that is done by each of these intermediaries. Yes, because let's say for example, consumer durables, consumer electronics, you want to go and purchase it offline. Why? Because you're looking for after sales service. Yes, you're looking at after sales service from the retailer here. Next, coming to the consumer behavior. It is a subject in itself, which is very vast, and uh, there are multiple things in consumer behavior as a subject. Let's say, for example, the learning models are there, the attitude models are there. Yes. So what influences consumer behavior, and motivation theories are there. Yes. So culture, subculture, there are so many things that affect uh, us as a consumers. So what exactly is the definition of consumer behavior? So it is a study of individuals or groups, or it could be an organization. But rather, when you talk about consumer behavior, it is more of a group and individual here. Yes. Basically, how these groups or individuals purchase a product. Yes. How they use it, how they get rid of the product, disposing of goods and services. So, consumer behavior consists of how the consumer's emotions, attitudes, and preferences affect the buying behavior. So, it is all about this here. Yes. And so, when you talk about these things, I mean, what are the factors that influence consumer behavior? Yes. So, let's say, for example, okay, so these are some of the factors that are going to influence consumer behavior. Yes. So let's say while the decision-making process itself is a quite standardized thing here. Yes, because no two different individuals can exactly think in a particular way, right? Because two different individuals may have different perspectives on many things. Either it could be the belief, or let's say the behavioral tendency, yes, or attitude. It could be anything here. Yes. So as you're looking at so many factors that influence, how all these factors interact with each other. Yes. How these are going to interact with each other. That is important. And once they interact with each other, it is going to come up with, let's say, unique set of consumer actions. Yes, unique set of consumers' actions. Yes, say for example, men and women express their needs in a very different way. Yes, and they behave in different. Let's say with regards to a personal care product, the way men buy personal care product is totally different the way women buy. Yes, or let's say families with young children tend to make different choices when it comes to having dinner outside than compared to married couple or with single parent, etc. Here, yes. So the consumers with a lot of prior purchasing experience, let's say in a specific product category, approach the decision making in somewhat different way as compared to people with no experience here. Yes. Why? Because we can categorize this into different factors. How it could be the situational factor. Yes, because this is situational factor is one factor which influences consumer decisions. Yes. When you say situational factors, we talk about the customer's level of involvement in the buying task. Yes, and the kind of market offerings that are available in the market. Yes, when you say buying task, whether it is a straight buy in the sense, I mean, I'm routine in buying certain things. Yes, on a routine basis, I buy certain things. So I don't have to think anything. I just make a list, go and purchase that. Yes, then there are modified rebuy. When you talk about modified rebuy, yes, I'm going to rebuy the thing, but now I'm going to change the product here. Change the brand, not product, change the brand here. I'm going to try another thing. That is modified rebuy. Then new task. When you talk about new task, you are talking about purchasing something new which you have not purchased already. Let's say, for example, you do not have a car, but you want to buy a car. That is a new task. Yes. So all these three things, new task, straight rebuy, modified rebuy, these are going to have different situational factors here. Yes. So when you talk about, say, for example, next one that is the personal factors. Yes, which incorporates demographies, life stage, lifestyle, personality. Yes, so these are certain things that are there. Or let's say, a phase where a particular person is there in a life stage. Yes, every individual makes a transition in the life stage, right? From the birth to being, a bachelor to getting into married life, then having kids. Yes, these terminologies, different terminologies are there. Having kids, married women, having kids, which is called as a full nest. Empty nesters is another terminology in market where the kids have gone out, for the purpose of education or for some career prospects to different cities. Only husband and wife are left back in the native. So that is called as empty nesters. Yes. So these are different terminologies when it comes to life stage and other aspects. Then what is the economic situation here? Yes. What is the economic situation? Because when parents want to settle their kids, they're all focused on energy and money is focused in planning their education and career. So once that phase is done, yes, kids are settled, then probably the parents might want to think for themselves. Yes, spending some money for themselves. Yes. So the marketers look from that perspective as well. Yes. So basically, overall, what is the economic situation? So we have something which is called, you might all be knowing that socio-economic classification that is done. Yes. So that is very important for marketers. Yes. And the next one is the psychological factors. Yes, when you talk about psychological factors, we are talking about, let's say, motivation. So everybody might have learned about Maslow's hierarchy of motivation, Herzberg theory of motivation. So you need to understand like what it is and when was it propounded and who propounded it, and what is the difference between these two things here. Yes, there are different other motivation theories as well. Yes, and so learning. Yes, how learning happens. Probably you might have come across, classical conditioning, operant conditioning. So that comes from different subject, principles of management subject. Yes, Sigmund Freud's experiments and the dog and the bell experiment that was done. Yes, so that was about classical conditioning. Operant conditioning is you do it by trial and error. Yes, you learn by trial and error. That is operant conditioning. Yes, so those are some models in learning. Then comes psychological factors by socializing, the kind of environment that you're exposed to. You see people, you socialize, you see how others talk, dress, and greet and treat each other. So on the basis of that, you tend to learn a lot of things here. Then comes attitudes. Yes, there are different attitude model in consumer behavior. Yes, so you can always refer the consumer behavior book by Valerie and Mary Jo Pittner. That is the best book that you can have for consumer behavior. Yes, then there are beliefs here. Yes, so fourth factor that is going to influence the buying decisions, I would say that there's the social factor here. Yes, because it is on the basis of the influence that we have in terms of a culture or subculture, social class, yes, family, reference groups. So all these things are different modules in each other, in altogether. Yes. So probably if you want to buy something, you would see that whether that particular product or service would fit well into your culture or not. Yes. So you're going to look into that particular perspective as well. So if that somebody says, in our home, this is not going to work. My parents don't allow this. This is not allowed in our home. Yes. What are these? So we're talking about the culture and subculture aspect. Yes. So as I mentioned about the Maslow's hierarchy of need as a motivation model. So you have got physiological needs, you've got safety and security, you've got uh, the belongingness and identity and other thing, then self-esteem, then self-actualization. Yes, these are some of the things that comes into the Maslow's hierarchy of needs here. Yes. So yes, then comes the as I spoke about the culture here. Yes, there are cultures, there are customs, there are subculture here, and these subculture depends on different states and different uh, caste types and not many other things. So a lot of subculture exists, uh, everywhere in every market. But as a market as a whole, if you look at the multinational companies, so what they do when you talk about subculture, let's say for example on the basis of nationality, they say Asians, they say the Koreans, Italians, the Americans, like that. Yes, or when it comes to ethnicity, they say Asian Americans or African Americans, Latinos. Yes, the Japanese, the Chinese. This is how they try to focus on the subculture part here. Yes, when it comes to social class, how much a particular person earns and what is the family background, let's say in terms of wealth, income, education, occupation, or it could be from the perspective of power and prestige as well. Yes, so on the basis of this, an individual is going to develop certain taste and preferences, needs and demands. Yes, let's say I need to go to, my children need to go to these kind of schools. Yes, I need to own a house in this specific society or this specific apartment. I need to drive a certain kind of a car. Yes, I need to wear a certain kind of clothing. Yes, I need to make purchasing here. I need to go to holidays here. So all these things are on the basis of social class. Yes, and you can say, upper class or upper middle class, lower middle class. So we can have a sort of classification of all those uh, things here. Yes, and then there are the reference groups as well that are there. Yes, when you talk about reference groups, uh, it could be informal group as well, or it could be a formal group from your workplace, or it could be in your schools and colleges, or any group that you want to be a part of, or you want to feel affiliated uh, being a part of that particular thing, and you want to get acquainted and make friends with those people in those particular group here. Yes, so that is the reason you want to be some like somebody. Yes, how cool those people are, you want to be some like someone. So that we call it as an aspirational group. Yes, a reference group, where a person is hoping to belong to that particular group one day. Yes, so there are different kind of groups, and in groups there could be opinion leaders. Yes, who's going to have an influence in that particular group. So like that, different categorization is done in these things. Yes, then you've got family here. Yes, so not many other things. These are the certain things that influence uh, these things when it comes to the consumer buying behavior. Yes. Moving on to the next one. Yes, the services marketing. Yes, and as I mentioned again, the services marketing is subject altogether, which focuses on only services part. When you talk about marketing management or principles of marketing, it focuses only from the product perspective. Yes, which is B2C, business to consumers. When you say business to business, there is a different subject, industrial marketing. Yes. So what happens in this services marketing? It is all about the intangible part, the services. Yes. And as I mentioned about the product mix, yes, sorry, the marketing mix, 4 P's: product, price, promotion, and place. In service mix, what happens? The 4 P's are extended and they become 7 P's here. Yes. So here, what happens here? What are the 3 extra P's? You have people here as a 5th P. 6th, you have got process. 7th, you have got physical evidence. Yes. So why people? Because service is intangible. I mean, you go to a lawyer, you go to a doctor, they are rendering the services. You as a professor, yes, you are rendering your service. There is nothing as a product that you're giving. Yes, you go to a dentist. What happens? He is performing. He has got a set of people. There would be a receptionist. There would be a dentist. There would be an assistant who's assisting the dentist there. Yes. And so service is inseparable from the person who is providing that particular thing. Yes. So you cannot take the service away from the person who's delivering that, who's performing that. Yes. So that is why people is important. Who are the people in this particular process? Then comes the process. Yes. How the service is delivered. Everything has got a process, right? You go to a, yes, it is the tangible things that make you feel comfortable in getting the service done at that place. Yes. You go to a restaurant and let's say the tablecloths are dirty. Yes. The waiter is dressed in a shabby attire. Would you like to dine in that particular restaurant? No. Why? Because that is a physical evidence. You will presume that the service here is not going to be good. The food here is not going to be good. That is the conclusion that you're going to come. So that is the reason physical evidence is important here. Yes, because based on the basis of that, customers are going to have their expectations set. Yes, right from the waiting rooms to the kind of magazines that are kept in the office lobbies, the kind of the plush sofas that are used. Yes, so everything here, right? So you see some of the doctors and the lawyers, the way they showcase their degrees and mark sheets and the kind of diplomas that they have earned, which are framed in the reception lobbies. So those are the physical evidence that is going to give you an assurance that the service is going to be good in these places. Yes, so that is the reason these are the three additional P's: people, process, and physical evidence. Yes, and this branch of service marketing was brought out of marketing management in the early 80s. Yes, because they wanted to have a different branch altogether into the service marketing. Yes, so when you talk about the service marketing, there are certain points here. As you can look at the first point, that is intangibility. Intangibility is what? It's not visible. You cannot touch a particular product the way you, service the way you touch a product here. Yes, you cannot see a service. Yes, can you see a service being performed by, let's say, a dentist or a lawyer? Yes, you cannot view it, you cannot touch it. Yes, it is so difficult for the clients to tell in advance, like, what is that they're going to get as an outcome. You don't know whether the lawyer is going to win a case or lose a case for you. You don't know the root canal that is being done by a dentist is going to be successful or no. Or again, you're going to have that toothache back again after a week. Yes, so you don't know the outcome of that. So this is an intangible part here, which you cannot touch and see. Yes. Second one is the inseparability. Inseparability is what, as I mentioned earlier, the person who is going to provide a service has to perform it himself simultaneously. The service is being produced at the same time and the client is receiving it. Yes. It is not possible to separate them. Number three is the heterogeneity. Yes, when it comes to service, I mean, we spoke about process. You can say, every process, every service is standardized. Yes, we agree that services are standardized and companies are putting a lot of effort to have a service standardized so that they provide the same kind of service each and every time. Yes. So that is the reason before designing these services, the company looks into a lot of factors. They come up with a service blueprint, service scape, landscape. Yes, lot many things, and they're going to see that how the service should be provided and where possibly things can go wrong and how I can counter and control those things here. Right. So having said that, a service can be a process oriented thing, but there is going to be a variability, heterogeneity. Let's say you dine in a good restaurant and you feel that, okay, the taste is fantastic. And next time you take your colleagues to that particular restaurant saying that this restaurant serves fantastic food. Yes. But to the nightmare, what happens? That day, the food doesn't taste the way it had tasted earlier. Right? Because there are a lot many favorable factors. The cook might have been on leave, or there is a change in the cook, or probably the cook is not having a good day. That is the reason it has reflected in the food that he has prepared. Not many other things. Yes. So let's say the kind of haircut you might have had in a beauty salon. Yes, you may not have the same kind of a thing in the next month. So it varies. Yes. That is the reason Heterogeneity is a point. But only thing what a company needs to do is they need to minimize the differences in the performance so that there is no too much of variation in these things. And how can that possibly be done? By training the personnel, by having a standard setting, by having let's say quality assurance. Number 4 is the perishability. Perishability is what, like, the product is going to have a shelf life. Some say best before 6 months from the date of manufacturing. Some say till 22 December, that is the expiry. But when you say perishability here, these are the unused capacity that cannot be stored for future use. Yes, for future use. Let's say, for example, a flight is scheduled from Bangalore to Delhi. Yes, but the flight is not full. So can you stop the flight and wait for that to fill the seats? You cannot do that. Yes, you cannot do that. I mean, how much ever seats are full, you have to leave it on the scheduled time of departure. And let's say, the capacity of the flight is 500, but there are people who are waiting. Can you add some extra seats to that? You cannot do that, right? So there is a perishability in these particular things. So that, perishes after that particular time. You cannot get the same thing. So these are certain things when you talk about the service marketing. Yes, and how a company needs to standardize services, and as I mentioned, you need to focus on the 7 P's in these things. Yes, so these are certain things. I mean, I know it is highly impossible to cover each and every aspects of these different subjects as a whole. Yes, but given a quick a glance on all these subjects, I can say, yes. So it's very difficult to cover all the aspects. So what I've done is I have created a word sheet, where I have collected some YouTube links for you. Yes, which should be as a ready reckoner or referencing for some of the important aspects. Yes, I'll share the link, and I'll also share an ebook on marketing for you. You can take it from the organizers later. I'll share it with them after the session. Yes. So these are certain things that I have tried to possibly cover in this 1 hour or so. Yes. So what I'll do is I have the previous year's question paper. Second, yes. So I'll just quickly run through and see like what are the questions that are from the marketing, and I will try to see this, see these things here. Okay, where are the marketing subjects? Okay, here we have one question, number 19. A market wherein a firm's product is usable by virtually all the firms in only 1 or 2 industries is called. Yes, only 1 or 2 industries. You have to focus on that, 1 or 2. Yes, when you say 1 or 2, what is going to be the answer? There is nothing called as restricted market. Yes, so you have got virtual market, you have got vertical business market, you have got horizontal business market. So when you talk about specifically 1 or 2 industries, that is going to be the vertical business market. Yes. If you're talking about all the markets, yes, it is going to be a horizontal, but he's specifically saying 1 or 2 industries. So there are different verticals, different businesses. So it's going to be a vertical business market. Next one. Okay, here is one on 22. Dash is a process of differentiating a firm's product and services to promote environmental responsibility. Yes, environmental responsibility. So here you can see social branding is not pertaining to environment, that pertains to CSR, and you don't have environmental leadership or market leadership is not which is applicable to this. So it is going to be eco branding here. Yes, you see all the green products nowadays. Everybody are talking about green products, eco branding. Right. So next, let's see where are the. I can see here services marketing is also known as. Yes. So we had a quick recap of what was that? We spoke about intangible goods. So it is marketing of intangible goods. Yes. And going on to the next one. Six. Of accounting and other things are there. International HR. Okay, flexible pricing. Here I can see another one. Changing the price of a product or service instantly, frequently in line with the market price is called as. Yes. So that is going to be a dynamic pricing. Yes, hopefully, yes. So that is going to be a dynamic pricing because depending on like what is the market. So usually, let's say for example, commodities and all. So it applies to them. There is a huge differences in demand and supply. So on the basis of that, they are going to use dynamic pricing. Even the flight charges and online bookings, they use dynamic pricing. Yes. Next question, we'll see. Okay, so 61. The core concept of marketing is, what is going to be the core concept of marketing? As you might remember that I spoke about providing value in exchange for a price for that particular value. It is about exchange. It is D. Yes, core concept of marketing is not about product, service, or product and service. Yes, so product, it comes in a product orientation. That is a different orientation. There are different orientations: product orientation, production orientation. Yes, marketing. There are different things. So this is going to be D. Next, you can see a marketing. Okay, number 72. A specific group of people or organization for which the seller designs a particular marketing mix is called. As I spoke about marketing mix, the 4 P's. Yes. And what I spoke about 4 P's said that you need to later segment, target, and position. So what is that you're going to do? You're going to use targeting here. Yes, because once the segmenting is done, you're going to use that segment as a target market. So it is C. Then next, marketing questions. So okay, free samples of providing free samples of perfumes and magazines is an example of. Remember, I spoke about operant conditioning, classical conditioning as a learning model. Yes. So what is this going to be here? So this is going to be a operant conditioning because they have given it to you as a trial. Yes. If you like it, you can go and purchase it. So that is going to be part of operant conditioning. Yes. Next one. Okay, here is another one. 89. The company and its distribution intermediaries put together are called. What is it called? It is called as a value chain. Yes, because every intermediaries, as I spoke, producers and carrying and forwarding agent, the dealers and retailers, everybody add one or the other value to that particular product and service. So that is the reason it is going to be value chain B. Okay, we have got another one, 92. The strategy of an organization treating its total market as a single market. Yes, as I gave an example of Procter & Gamble, you might remember, they usually treat one particular country market as one market. So that is going to be a mass market. Yes, B is going to be a mass market. Then, okay, 98, we have got another one, which is market segmentation based on attributes related to how a person thinks, feels, and behaves. Hope you remember we discussed the basis of segmentation. Yes, and basis of segmentation, how a person thinks, feels, and behaves was under the psychographic segmentation, that is B. Yes, psychographic segmentation, because personality and other things also are a sub part of these particular things. Okay, number 99, this is the last one, I believe. Features of an organization that is perceived as desirable and different from its competitors is known as. Perceived as different and different from its competitor. Yes. So how it is going to be a different as a competitor? Hope you remember that I spoke about bringing in a product differentiation when we were talking about the product, bringing a product differentiation in the product. So that is going to be C, a differential advantage. Yes. So I think these are some of the questions that are there which are pertaining to marketing and consumer behavior, services marketing, and IMC. Yes, probably these are some 15 questions, I believe, roughly. Yes, which are there. So this is about this session. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me your questions. Yes, so I'll share the video links of those YouTube URL and also a soft copy of marketing book, so you can collect it from the organizers later. Yes, so if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask in the questions. I don't know how they're going to ask, and yes, I'm done.
Yes, sir. There is a question in the chat box.
Okay.
If company follows direct to consumer model, then decrease in employment opportunities can be seen.
Exactly, you cannot say decrease in employment opportunities because what I can say is the number of people in terms of intermediaries are less. Yes, and the company is not always going to focus on the employment opportunity perspective. It is going to look at its bottom line, because if there is no good bottom line, they're not making any profits. How is that they're going to survive? Yes, so that is the reason we cannot usually look into that particular aspect. You look at from a purely business perspective, how I'm going to make money and how I'm going to satisfy the consumers with my products. That is going to be my perspective from business. Yes, hope I have.
Sir, there is one more question. Why it is not option flexible pricing?
Back to that, well, it was, I think, pertaining to the pricing, dynamic pricing, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Why is it not
Option flexible pricing?
not flexible pricing? Because it becomes very difficult for you to change your MRP every now and then for some pricing. Yes, so it is very difficult. That is the reason I quoted a specific example of commodities here, looking at the demand and supply. A company cannot charge today less and tomorrow more just because people are buying it. Yes, so that is something which is against the rule of business, and it is not going to be perceived in a right way by the consumers. Yes, so that is the reason it is not flexible pricing. It is a dynamic pricing, and specifically for some category of commodity and let's say online hotel booking and uh, the airline booking, which are based on certain seasons. So that is the reason.
Okay, sir. There is one more question. How exchange alone decides core concept of service marketing even we have services in main aspect?
How the concept of exchange?
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Exchange alone decides core concept of service marketing even we have service is main aspect.
Service is the main aspect. Okay. See, I mean, if you see from an economic perspective, I mean, how we have progressed over a period of time from the barter system, right? And when you say service, okay, probably service plus marketing. Yes, for that is the reason that somebody is willing to pay a particular price. When you say barter system, barter was also something which, it was not straight one unit I'm going to give, that you give me one unit. It was not like that. It was on the basis of the importance and the kind of value that particular product had got. I'm going to give one unit of this because this is important, so you give me another product, 4 units, which is going to be equal to one. Yes. So service marketing is what you are adding value to that particular process. And when you talk about marketing, anything and everything can be marketed. It is not just service, it is not just product. You can market yourself as an individual. You see, nowadays online, how many motivational speakers, how many people who are offering you the courses. Yes, you can market an idea, you can market a place, you can, market literally anything and everything. So that is the reason people are exchanging the service. So that is the base. But the degree of service varies from people to people, organization to organization. That is the reason you pay differential pricing for all those things. Yes.
There are no more questions, sir.
There are?
Hello?
Yeah, please tell me.
Yes, sir. There are no more questions, sir.
Okay. I think
So, I, on behalf of Karnataka State Akkamahadevi Women's University, Vijaypur, would like to thank Akash Mathapati, sir, to share his knowledge with us on the topic of marketing. Sir has discussed the various topics of marketing, marketing mix, that is 4Ps, 4Cs, SP, that is segmenting, targeting, positioning, consumer behavior, and the various factors of consumer behavior. Sir has also outlined few of the concepts of service marketing. And participants, I hope if any questions you can ask sir. And I would like to thank once again participants as well. Thank you, sir.
thank you.